Are you in love with the defendant, Todd Manning?
Your Honor.
Please answer the question, Miss Saybrook. Are you in love?
Your Honor, objection. Where's the relevance?
The plaintiff's state of mind at the time of the alleged rape is of absolute relevance, as I intend to demonstrate.
Your Honor, a victim's feelings about her attacker, whatever they may be, are irrelevant. This precedent was well established in cases such as spouse rape and date rape.
Yes, the he said, she said cases like we have here. Your Honor, the fact is, the Commonwealth has absolutely no evidence to substantiate that sex of any kind ever occurred. All we have is the alleged victim's claim, which is why I must be allowed to examine her story before we proceed to trial and ruin a man's reputation. Your Honor, I am confident that given a little leeway, I can prove that the claims against my client are groundless.
A little leeway, Your Honor. We're talking due process.
I'm almost there, Your Honor.
I'll take you at your word, Counselor, but let me remind you, you are not arguing your case. You're simply testing the credibility of a witness.
Or incredibility, yes, Your Honor.
What do you think?
I think she's evil.
Miss Saybrook, I'll ask you again. Are you in love with Todd Manning?
No. I'm not in love with Todd Manning. Not anymore.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Could you please speak up?
It's okay, Cole. It's just what lawyers do.
Miss Saybrook?
I said I do not love Todd Manning anymore.
Yes, that's what I thought you said.
Your Honor.
We don't have all day, Ms. Delgado.
Miss Saybrook, you say you are no longer in love with Todd Manning. Were you ever in love with him?
Yes.
This was passed down.
Thank you, Miss Saybrook. I appreciate your candor. Now, you say you had feelings for Todd. When did these develop? When you were in college with him?
I have no memory of my life before the accident. But given the facts, I would assume I probably despised Mr.
In the
Manning.
future, a simple yes or no will do, Miss Saybrook. So these feelings you said you had for Todd, they developed during your recent stay at his home?
You make it sound like I was his house guest.
Yes or no, Miss Saybrook?
I came to have feelings for him while I was being held
At his home.
house.
Okay, so while the two of you were falling in love during that 6-month period, did you also have sex? Yes or no, Miss Saybrook?
I would hardly call it that.
Please instruct the witness to answer the question.
Answer the counsel's question, Ms. Saybrook.
Yes.
So, is it safe to say that you were in love with Todd Manning when you had sex with him, Miss Saybrook? Please answer the question, Miss
Objection,
Saybrook.
Your Honor. Objection. We have already stipulated that Todd Manning had sex with Dr. Saybrook. That is why we're here. Now, the witness has established the fact that she lived at Todd Manning's house and is competent to testify to any events that happened while she was there, which is the sole purpose of this inquiry. So we're done here.
Actually, Your Honor, I'm just getting started. We've just heard Ms. Saybrook say that she was in love with Todd Manning. I intend to prove that any sexual contact that occurred between my client and Ms. Saybrook was absolutely consensual and in no way fits the legal definition of rape.
Okay, Ms. Delgado has now raised the issue of consent. Exactly how does an amnesiac give consent? You know, because my understanding is that the law clearly designates amnesia as a mental disability, rendering one
Incapable of granting consent. Yes, I am aware of the statute.
She didn't know what she was doing. Or she didn't know who she was or what Todd had done to her. Doesn't that count for
Please
anything?
sit down.
Right, Your Honor. That was Dr. Saybrook's son, and although out of order, he has made my point for me. I mean, how is it possible for Dr. Saybrook to give her consent when vital facts were withheld from her that would have informed her decision? I mean, she had no idea the extent of the relationship that she had with Todd Manning. She didn't know that he'd raped her, facilitated her gang rape, perpetrated a reign of terror on her and all those close to her. And why didn't she know this? Because Mr. Manning purposefully kept her in the dark. He lied to her, and he kept her dependent upon him. He kept her in his house under armed guard, kept her from her family, kept her from her friends, and never once did he utter the words, "You have a son." This was a fraud that was committed on the victim here, a fraud that obviates any pretense of love that the defendant would claim as mitigating circumstances. I mean, the simple truth is, no matter how he tries to pretty it up, Todd Manning raped Marty Saybrook by denying her the right to say no.
So when the DA slept with her gay husband, Daniel Colson, was that rape too?
No more of that, Counselor.
While the statute remains clear, the actual case law regarding amnesia and the boundaries of consent is ambiguous at best. And if you'll allow me to pursue my line of questioning to its natural conclusion, I will prove my point.
No, Your Honor, you have to stop this. Don't let her do this to Marty.
Mr. Manning, please take your seat.
No, not until she stops this. I told you not to beat up on her.
I'm telling you that if you don't let me force the truth out of her now, she will face a much worse line of questioning when we go to trial. Is that what you want? Listen to me. You want to spare her the indignity of reliving your little night of bliss and save yourself 99 years in Statesville as a two-time rapist? You'll sit down, shut up, and let me do my job. My apologies, Your Honor.
I'll assume that you and your client are now on the same page.
We are, Your Honor.
Well, my objection still
Overruled.
stands.
Get on with it, Ms. Delgado.
With pleasure, Your Honor. Miss Saybrook, during your convalescence at Todd's home, did you have access to a computer?
Yes, there was a laptop.
And did you ever use the computer to learn about your life prior to the accident?
Once.
And what did you learn about yourself?
Rape charge stems from alleged events that occurred during a party at Value Fraternity Kappa Alpha.
Answer the question, Miss Saybrook. What did you learn about yourself?
I found an article about the rape trial.
You mean the first time you accused Todd of rape?
Objection, Your Honor. The defendant was tried and convicted of raping Dr. Saybrook.
I will rephrase.
Thank you. That would be lovely.
You're welcome. When did you find this article?
Beginning of October.
And when did you leave Todd's home?
When the police got to me.
I was asking for an approximate date.
Early November.
So you knew that Todd had been convicted of raping you, and yet you chose to stay at his house for another month.
I did not know that he was one of my attackers.
Why not? Didn't the article list his name?
I didn't read the article.
Why not?
Because Todd convinced me not to.